Go all the way back to the Old Testament and you see this pattern that God always leaves one man ultimately responsible from the time of Adam down to the patriarchs, the judges, the kings, the high priests, and so on. And in the New Testament, the same picture emerges. In Acts, for instance, we find multiple apostles apparently living in Jerusalem, and yet there always seems to be one man left in charge. First, that's St. Peter, and then after he leaves the city, it's St. James. Similarly, consider St. Paul's writings to Timothy and Titus. Paul, coming in from the outside, appoints Titus to govern the church in Crete, with instructions to fix the local church, and with the authority to single-handedly appoint elders. Paul tells him to teach what befits sound doctrine, and after giving him specific instructions, he concludes, declare these things, exhort and reprove with all authority, let no one disregard you. So we know that in the church of Crete, there's one guy with the authority such that nobody in Crete can disregard him, and his name is Titus. And Titus, in turn, is answerable outside of the local church to apostles like Paul. Now that doesn't sound very much like either Congregationalism or Presbyterianism. Similarly, St. Paul appoints Timothy to lead the church in Ephesus, giving him instructions not only for how to treat his flock, but in what to look for in a bishop and in deacons, and how to handle accusations against elders. He even tells him that he is to charge certain persons not to teach any different doctrine. So this again looks like top-down leadership from a single guy, very much like a single bishop. And sure enough, the next time we see the governance of the church in Ephesus, it's when St. Ignatius mentions that the flock there is united around their bishop Onesimus. Now, as an aside, that might well be the same man who St. Paul wrote to Philemon to free from slavery. And Ignatius says Onesimus himself greatly commends their good order in God, as they stayed united instead of dividing into different sects. Now, that doesn't look like the Christians of Ephesus have overthrown the structure of the church established by St. Paul. It looks instead like they're treating it the exact same way they were meant to treat Timothy. You've got strong evidence from the Old Testament, the New Testament, and the witness of the early church, and it all points in the same direction, toward local churches being run by a single bishop who's then aided by presbyters and deacons.